Hello, bros. We are back with new book arrivals, number 283. Let's start the bullshit off with this stack of books since most of these are in the same category of non-books. I will sell these and make a profit. I got these for 25 cents a piece, minus $5. I think I paid, what did I pay for all of these? I didn't really pay. I paid like 60 cents for everything because, and there was more stuff. I just don't know what I did with it. What did I get? I got something else. I just don't remember what it was. What do you got, bruv? But these books were a quarter, and I got them basically for free because I had a $5 coupon at my thrift store. So there you go. And Frida McFadden is a popular author right now. I could care less about her. So I will sell all of the books. There's another one, Ward D. Not interested in reading it. If He Had Been With Me, Laura Nolan. Autumn and Finn used to be inseparable, but then something changed. Oh, they changed. Now they do their best to ignore each other. Autumn has her boyfriend, Jamie, and her close-knit group of friends. Finn has become that boy at school, the one everyone wants to be around that still doesn't stop the way Autumn feels every time she and Finn cross paths, and the growing, nagging thought that maybe things could have been different. Maybe they should be together. And as time passes, Autumn realizes she might not get another chance to make things right before it's too late. As I've always said, the only thing I regret is everything. So, look at that. It's a little shattered heart. Lollipop. Run on Red, a thriller by Noel W. Ely. A rural country road, no cell signal for miles, a terrifying game of cat and mouse. By the time Laura and Olivia notice the headlights tailing them through the hills, it's too late. What seems at first like a case of road rage quickly unfolds into a heart-pounding chase and a battle for survival. Who are the men in the truck? What do they want? And can Laura and Olivia outrun and even outsmart them long enough to get out a call for help, even if it means taking their chances in the hills on foot? As their situation grows more perilous, the girls realize that the road terror has only just begun. But it won't be enough to flee from their pursuers. If they're gonna make it home alive, they'll have to fight. See, this book makes me not want to read at all because it's so fucking stupid. But I bought it to sell it, so. A Stranger in the House by Shiri LaPena. Karen Krupp was home making dinner for her husband. She was expecting him any second. The phone rang. It was the call she hoped she'd never get. She jumped in her car and raced to a neighborhood she thought she'd never visit. She peered into the dark, deserted building and braced herself for the worst. After that, she remembered nothing. They told her husband Tom she'd been in an accident. She must have lost control of her car as she sped through the roughest part of town. The police suspect that Karen was up to no good. But her husband refuses to believe it. Her best friend is not so sure. And even Karen herself doesn't know what to believe. Then she realizes something in her house has been moved. Someone's been there. And now everyone is a stranger. Everyone has a secret, one they might even kill for. Now that's the suspense. Tess Stimpson, the new house. You think you've found your dream home. Think again. Do you hear me? Think again. Three couples, three houses, one home to die for. Stacy and Felix are the glamorous owners of the stylish, modern glass house with its pool and floor to ceiling windows. Now they're downsizing, but Stacy can't sell to just anyone. She needs the right buyer who will keep her secrets. Millie and Tom have always imagined living in the glass house. Now it's for sale, with property prices booming. If they could sell quickly, it could be theirs. But are the house and its charming owners all they seem? Harper and Kyle are moving up in the world. They need a new house in the right school district to give their children the start in life they never had. Millie and Tom's is perfect. It'll take every penny they have and more, but it'll be worth it, won't it? When one of the sales falls through, how far will someone go to get everything they've always wanted? I mean, this just screams literature. What Lies Between Us, John Mars, best-selling author of When You Disappeared. Nina can never forget Maggie for what she did, and she can never let her leave. They say every house has its secrets, and the house that Maggie and Nina have shared for so long is no different, except that these secrets are not buried in the past. Every other night, Maggie and Nina have dinner together. When they're finished, Nina helps Maggie back to her room in the attic and into the heavy chain that keeps her there. Because Maggie has done things to Nina that can't ever be forgiven, and now she is paying the price. But there are many things about the past that Nina doesn't know, and Maggie is going to keep it that way, even if it kills her. Because in this house, the truth is more dangerous than lies. Lies. Alright, that's a bunch of bullshit. Agatha Christie writing under the name Mary West Maycott, absent in the spring. Nice gothic cover. Looks like a mansion. Prince Charming coming down. Beautiful woman standing in her dress, wringing her hands, unsure what's going to happen to him. Renowned throughout the world for her storytelling genius, Agatha Christie now brings her matchless talents to a spellbinding novel of romance and menace. The story of a woman whose strange quest for love leads her down a dangerous path where the point of no return marks the beginning of a nightmare. Woo! What's up, bruv? Agatha Christie. The mysterious affair at Styles. There he is, Inspector Pro, and his mustache. I mean, the comeback of the mustache is one of the saddest events in human history. Dapper, brilliant Monsieur Poirot, renowned chief of Belgian police, found a new home in England through the generosity of Emily Cavendish, mistress of Styles Court. Poirot quickly discovered a startling way to repay his benefactress. A coroner's jury named her a victim of murder by person or persons unknown, and the eccentric detective came out of retirement knowing he was the only man who could catch her killer. I got this in the state sale. It's my second copy of Hollywood Babylon in like 3 weeks, so definitely plan on selling them both. Books going for 20 or 30 bucks. Hollywood Babylon. a Dell paperback book. As I said, since I already reviewed this like weeks ago. How are you, bruv? I'm great. I'm wonderful. What do you got? Vampires, Werewolves, and Ghouls by Bernhardt J. Herwood. The Enigma of Human Monsters. Oh my god, look at the scariness. Vampires, werewolves, and ghouls. Does walking alone down a dark street frighten you? Does a moving shadow in the small hours strike terror in your heart? They should, when you consider the Colorado cannibal who ate 5 friends, the London vampire who drank his victim's blood, the Parisian ghoul who made love to female corpses, the Harz Mountain werewolf who fed on young children. No, they are not creations of a mad writer's mind. They are and were living, breathing men and women, unspeakable human monsters. They are introduced for the first time in one comprehensive volume by Bernhardt J. Herwood, internationally recognized expert on the strange, the uncanny, and the bizarre. Right. Good stuff. Yeah, monsters. They Walk by Night, The Enigma of the Paranormal by Michael Hervey, author of Strange Happenings. All new, all true stories about the mysterious world of the occult and the strange people and things who inhabit that world. Yeah, they're going to get everybody. They walk by night, these creatures from out there. He cursed his executioners aloud after his head was severed from his body. He took a leave of absence from his coffin in the graveyard. He ministered to the plane crash victims without leaving footprints in the snow. Who are these beings? What are they? Where do they come from? In book form, for the first time, are the spine tingling, weird, true accounts of things that happened in our world, with creatures not really of it. Crazy. I got these books at a estate sale where there was in the previews not hundreds. Yeah, I guess there were hundreds of books. Hundreds of books. A lot of them were classics in the faux leather bound kind of deal, like this book. But there was also about a stack of 10 vampire books. I went there, but the lady had already gotten them all. She bought like 130 books before I could get there. But I was left with 4 or 5 of these. The world is mysterious, cursed. Wait, poor man. The Curse of the Undead. Is that Jim Morrison? Does she have horns, or is that just a streak in her hair? Classic Tales of Vampires and Their Victims, edited by M.L. Carter. I would say, yeah. Not that I needed those books. I would say of the vampire books, there was only one I didn't have. And it's only like a $15 book, so if I really need it, I can get it. Tales of the Undead by distinguished authors: the Marquis de Sade, Matthew G. Lewis, never heard of him, Edgar Allan Poe, J. Sheridan Le Fanu, Bram Stoker, F. Marion Crawford, Evelyn E. Robert Bloch, Frederick Brown, Neil Strom. Why is the vampire story so appealing? Why are brilliant talents drawn to tell and retell tales of the undead? The unquiet ones who must return to feed on the vitality, the blood of the living. What draws us back to read about Dracula and his fellows, monsters from the grave who seduce all sexes and ages to feed their foul hunger? Here are classic vampire tales from the 18th century to the present. From the gloomy and terror stricken tombs and castles of tradition to the spaceships of science fiction, stories for readers who long to feel the cold hand on the heart, the creeping of the flesh, the sleep destroying night fears that lurk on the edges of the enlightened modern mind. And for some reason, amidst all these vampire books and the ghost, was The Happy Hooker, my own story by Xavier Hollander. Look at me. Look at these. You saw her on TV. You read about her in Time. She's front page news coast to coast. She's frank. She's controversial. She's Xavier Hollander, the happy hooker, and she tells you all about it. All right. Right. Little blood fellow. Albert Schweitzer, an anthology. It's another book I got for a quarter, but I wasn't gonna get it. I was just like, let someone else have it. But then I saw this right here. Right here. I like you. And the Hardy Boys, the Shove Road. I don't know what that says. The Shove Pode or Road. Looks like Pode, but oh, the pond. The Shove Pond? No, that says Pode. Poed. The Shore Pode? The Shore Road? Yeah, I think it's Shore Road, actually. I think there's actually an R. Hello, vegan. The last vampire I met said motherfuckers always want to skate uphill. Right. Anyway, I got this because I was just, like I said, these two notes were in it. Someone said, I like you, so I think that was, and it also says, I love you, even though the I looks like an S. But I was just thinking that kids back then were writing this kind of stuff while reading Albert Schweitzer. It seems unbelievable, honestly. But you can see it belongs to the book because it's stained forever in it. So that's the reason why I got Albert Schweitzer. Black Boy. And obviously this book has a huge matted thing in it because it has some water damage. But it was only $2, so I got it. Book of the Month Club. Said you can't find this book anywhere else for $2, so probably sell it for $10 if I wanted to. 1945. Yeah, pages are stuck together too. Nice. It'd be great if it was signed. Yes, it's day. No, it's not day. It's like midnight. It's 1:30 in the morning. More than 85 years ago, Oliver Wendell Holmes nobly said, "It is so much easier to consign a soul to perdition, or to say prayers to save it, than to take the blame on ourselves for letting it grow up in neglect and run to ruin." Don't wear your Sunday best ever. Buy war bonds. No. A Foxfire Christmas. Appalachian Memories and Traditions. I will sell this book. I got it for $0.25. I know it says it for $0.25, but that wasn't the price that was supposed to be on it. But it was in a special rack for $0.25. And I say it wasn't, that's not the price tag because they don't use price tags at the library where I got it from. Come on up, buddy. And if you know books, you know the Foxfire books about survival and ghost stories and all that shit. Anyways, this is, come on. We'll get it eventually. Got it. O28 equals 1228. Okay. See how easy this one comes off. Vegan doll's in jail, so she is on her break. Her public time right now. If she's still here. They might have put her back in solitary. Oh, you still here, vegan? Well, if they taking you back to your cell. She gone. She gone. Let's see if there's anything in here. I think I have 2 or 3 copies of this and I've even looked in it. I especially remember when I was a child, about 3 or 4 years old, Santa Claus was at Snow Hill Baptist Church, and he gave me a little swing. When he called my name and started toward me, I got down under the seat. I didn't stop until I was way back under several people's seats before somebody caught me. I was afraid of him. It's sad. Detroit, I do mind dying. A study in urban revolution. I think I have this book, but it's a nice copy, so I figured if I had it, I don't have a better copy than this. Since I'm in the Detroit area, I own way too many Michigan and Detroit books that I'll never read. Detroit, I Do Mind Dying tracks the extraordinary development of the Dodge Revolutionary Union movement and the League of Revolutionary Black Workers as they became 2 of the most vital political organizations of the 1960s and 1970s. Widely heralded as one of the most important books on the Black liberation movement and labor struggles in history. Something tells me that's self-proclaimed. Dan Georgakis is a writer, historian, and activist, and co-editor of Solidarity Forever, an oral history of the IWW, Encyclopedia of the American Left, and the immigrant left in the United States. He is a longtime editor of Cineast magazine and has contributed to numerous film anthologies and journals. Right. Houdini on Magic. Whoa! Houdini was in that box. I wonder how many videos there are of how much video footage there is of Houdini. Like, is it hours or just a few minutes? Fine. They got him. Shackles, neck cuff, and handcuff. They got me, bruv. Edited by Walter B. Gibson. Hey, Walter B. Gibson's like a big writer on magic. Someone told me out in the States before, if you see a Walter Gibson book, get it. I don't think this one's worth a lot, but his other books apparently are. Which is funny because I bought magic books by Walter B. Gibson and they weren't worth all that much. Magic, bruv. Flying saucers and science. A scientist investigates the mysteries of UFOs. Stanton T. Friedman, who is a big name in the field. I think he's still alive. He may have died. Maybe he's sick. Yeah, if you listen to Coast AM, which I have not listened to in a long time, he is often on there. If he's still alive, he is, but I don't know if he's still alive. As you can see, this book's a bit cocked. Like that. Yes. It's got a cocked spine. Crooked house. Here's this. And There Were None by Agatha Christie. 19. This is a Barnes & Noble 2018 edition. HarperCollins Books. Agatha Christie. Probably have about 5 different copies of this book. Still have not read anything by Agatha Christie. Science, not gonna lie. I'm good at science more than anything. What do you do? Home experiments? It was the next day in the afternoon that I was walking rather rapidly in the darkest part of the wood, where the shade of the pine trees was more menacing than anywhere else. Sounds a lot different than what I expected from Agatha. Of Dixboro, lest we forget. And Dixboro is, what kind of experiment? You building a nuclear bomb? Karen G. Buick? Buck? I don't know what it says. Dixboro, which is a little town outside of Ann Arbor, Michigan. And there's a famous ghost story that is printed in this book. The famous Dixboro ghost. The Dixboro General Store. The Gypsies. The blacksmith shop. And then there's the little thing. See? Just outside of Ann Arbor. I told you. I Married a Logger. Life in Michigan's Tall Timber by Julie Anderson. Obviously, I'm in Michigan, so I buy Michigan books. Oh, what's this? Here comes the bride, all dressed in white. Sweetly and serenely in the soft glowing light. Loudly to see, marching to thee, sweet love, united for eternity. That's pretty fucking poignant. Expected much better. What's this book about? When Julie met and married Howard Anderson, and they set up housekeeping in a logging camp. Amid the heat, mosquitoes and flies, mud and manure, sometimes during the freezing cold, snow-filled winters, she must have wandered back in thought to the young girl studying at the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts, dreaming of becoming a fashion illustrator. Here she was, though, involved in a full and strenuous life, a life she could never have planned, struggling with the bookkeeping she detested, being frightened by bears, listening to the tall tales of the Jacks, or following Howard down forest trails in autumn's color and winter's majestic whiteness. She found herself taking the good with the bad until she awoke one day to find herself part of a tremendous experience. She had really become part of the logging camp, and with hungry lumberjacks at her stove, she learned their ways of eating, working, drinking, and dying. Of course, there are difficult times, a forest fire which threatens their timber, a tragic suicide, a sudden death of one of their lumberjack friends, a painful spine injury, all of which contribute further in bringing out the courage and grit that make living in the wilderness a rewarding experience. Sounds exciting. Perilous Times, a study in eschatological evil. Look at those eyes. By Kenneth L. Gentry, Jr. I believe this is from a biblical bent. The Apostle Paul warns Timothy, "This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come." And Paul is not alone in sounding such a foreboding alarm in the Scriptures. Indeed, throughout the Bible, we learn of perilous times ordained by God. What Bible-believing Christian would dispute the credibility of such prophecies? In this work, Dr. Gentry provides in-depth studies of 5 principal passages defining these perilous times: Daniel, Matthew, Thessalonians, Revelation, and Revelations. These texts are crucial to understanding biblical eschatology. Does not the prophecy of the 70 weeks in Daniel 9 mark off with foreboding an era of historical development in which desolations are determined? Right. Who does not sense the dread in the prophecy of wars and rumors of wars, which are but harbingers of the great tribulation? And what of those evil eschatological figures casting their dark shadows over the prophetic scenery of Scripture? Fucker's got lightning in his eyeballs. Chess in an hour. Opening moves and counterattacks. Setting traps and openings. Basic king and pawn endings. Combinations by world champions. Chart of tournament playing. Obviously. Introductory chess. Frank J. Marshall. What year is it? 68. See, that's when the ISBN first came around. And it was shorter. Book's in pretty good shape. Don't like chess, but I collect chess books, so there you go. Chess? No. It's not chess, it's chess. What kind of perversion are you getting to there? This is a surprising find at the thrift store. Robert Frost's A Mask of Reason. I believe it's a first edition. Too bad it's not one of his more popular books because it's not worth anything. I guess it's worth $20, but I wanted it to be worth like $220. First printing, A Mask of Reason. It's very short. Probably read it on this channel because it's literally like 15 pages. Can't believe they published this like this. Look at this. Literally. How many frickin' pages is it? 23 pages. What a joke. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Gonna blame it on autocorrect. There's Robert Frost. Not a very good poet in my estimation, but people like him. And I like the cover, honestly. It's pretty nice, but not a fan. Robert Harris, who wrote the Silence of the Lambs, Archangel, author of Fatherland and Enigma. I'm guessing that he hadn't written Silence of the Lambs at this point, or it would be listed because I'm pretty sure that's his biggest book. I have it right over there on that shelf. If you look right there. I got it at the same store. I like how it unfocuses. Right there. Actually, I like that ghostly finger. It is a first edition, but it's not in very good shape. So, but it was only $1, so 23. Dang. Yeah. Dang indeed. This book's not in very good shape, but it's a first edition. Check the board. See how they look. Oh, there's even a crease in the spine there. Got moisture exposure. Not good for the soul. This book I foolishly paid $4 for. I mean, it's worth probably 10 or 15, but I didn't want to give the librarian a 10 to... They really put fucking tape in her. This pisses me off if it sticks. Came out. Dumb sons of bitches. Paid $4 for it. It's, like I said, it's worth about 10 or 15, but I didn't want to deal with the librarian. So I just put it into the box along with my other books, or money for the other books. Apparently this book's, oh yeah, if you get a spine, it's even splitting at the spine. Whatever. I gave him $4. This book has been reprinted numerous times. This is from 76, To My Mother. Hello, Chooch. God himself could not sink this ship. The greatest buildings and memorials of the earth. Obviously, it's about a night to remember. It's not an army book, bro. It's about the Titanic. Captain captains just dressed that way back in the day. I don't know if they still do. Lastly, Miss Tibbett's typewriter. Let's see if this comes off without ripping the book. This does have a library binding. Come on. What's more interesting than watching someone peel a sticker? Oh no. Whatever. I give up. Drawings by Rick Schreider. It's a dumb looking cat. Broken keys lead to hilarious misunderstandings. Oh, do they? I didn't see that before. St. Patrick's School Library, Brighton, Michigan. Miss Tibbett's typewriter. 19. What year? Are you thinking about the Army? Salvation Army? 1966. See, they had the ISBN in there, too. Oh, that's the Library of Congress catalog number. So I wonder if the original ISBN just went off that and then added like an X and an O. Full Victor. Miss Tibbett lived in the city. She lived in a small room. Plant. A striped cat and an old typewriter. There she is. They didn't lie. She liked the sweet potato plant, even though it grew so much that it wound the closet door. She liked the cat, even though it patched up the furniture. And she liked the typewriter, even though it wasn't in perfect working order. Miss Tibbett liked the clackety sound the keys made when her fingers pressed down on them. She also liked the sound of the little bell when she came to the end of a line, ping, and another line, ping, line after neat typewritten line, all the way down the page, ping, 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 ping. There were many keys to press, keys with numbers and keys with all kinds of punctuation marks. Alice in Blunderland, maybe. My grandfather was in the army and died. He died in the army, or he was in the army, and then he just died. Marks that sounded exciting, marks that sounded slow and dawdling, marks that sounded halfway to someplace, and question marks and commas and dashes, all sorts of lines and squiggles. Then there were the rows of keys with letters. The top row went QWERTYUIOP. Miss Tibbett thought it sounded like an early morning bird calling her to get up. Quarty-oop, quarty-oop. Even if she tried to hide under the covers, the quarty-up, quarty-you-oop bird would keep on calling, quarty-oop, quarty-oop. Cat fucking slept, though. The next row of letters went ASD, FGH, JKL. ASD, FGH, JKL. To Miss Tibbett, it was plain as could be. ASD, FGH, JKL was the sound of a medium-sized elephant sneeze. Acid the fucking jackal. Ka-choo, ka-choo, bless you, medium-sized elephant. The last row of letters went ZXCBBNM. But, or now, here Miss Tibbett was not so sure. Some days it seemed to her that ZXCBBNM was the name of a prehistoric beast a third cousin of a brontosaurus. Perhaps. Yet on other days it seemed more likely that the ZX CVBNM was a creature from another planet. Was the creature a friend or a foe? She wasn't at all sure. Taken all together, the three rows made up the whole alphabet. If she were to use each and every letter, Miss Tibbett could type out "the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog." That would use all 26 letters. But there was one key that always got stuck. Miss Tibbett didn't let it bother her, though. She kept right on typing, listening to this little bell go ping at the end of every line. After all, suppose one key didn't work. What was just one among so many? Miss Tibbett lived around the corner from an auto repair shop. One morning, the owner, Mr. Golden, was on his way to work. He heard the sounds of clickety, clackety, clack, clack, ping coming from Miss Tibbett's room. Mr. Golden asked her if she would type a sign for him to put in the window of his shop. Miss Tibbett nodded happily. She was pleased that her old typewriter could be so useful. She would make a sign for Mr. Golden's auto repair shop, and then she would make signs for other shops in the neighborhood, too. How busy and happy she would be. I mean, is it really a sign unless the font was monstrous? Next day, she came to the auto repair shop, all ready with her sign for the window. Mr. Golden was putting a new tire on a car, and his helper was hammering out a fender that had been dented. Miss Tibbett didn't interrupt. She hung the sign in the window herself and then walked away, smiling. How good it felt to be useful. But Mr. Golden scratched his head when he looked at the sign. It said, "Come to Golden's Auto Repair Shop. We ix lats and enders." Miss Tibbett had gone on to type up a card for Mr. Bartram the tailor. The sign for his window read, "Let us, if you with ein Aschens." Sounds German. "Our prices are air." Then Miss Tibbett left the sign she made for Mrs. Mescow at the travel agency. It said, "Dreaming about our places? Why not go on a unild trip to Rance? You can lee now and pay later." And last she left this card for Mr. and Mrs. Tappinger at the drugstore. It read, "Ely not so good. Call on us to ill your every pill need. We give asked re-delivery." After leaving all her signs, she hurried home to type a letter to her sister who lived in another state. The words came out this way on Mrs. Tibbett's old typewriter. "Dear Helen, it must be nice and warm now on your root arm in Florida. Here there is frost on the ground, and it is also oggy. Some days my ace eels nearly rosen, and my ingers are reezing. I have to wear gloves with love. Rom me to all your Amelie." Miss Tibbett even had trouble typing out notes to herself. One of her notes read, "Don't forget to buy new olding chair. Remember to dust furniture and inish ironing. Be sure to eat the cat. Resh water or the plant." "Oh dear," Miss Tibbett said to her cat. "I think I better not type any more today." The cat answered, "Meow." Miss Tibbett took the letter for her sister to the mailbox on the corner. All the shopkeepers ran up to her, holding the cards she had typed for them. "We can't use these. Just look." The ungrateful bastards. Look at them all. Miss Tibbett took her typewriter to the repair shop. Please do something, she said. It seems that everything I type seems to need that one stuck key. All right, said the repairman, but it's a very old machine. I can't promise that something else won't go wrong. Do what you can, said Miss Tibbett. I want so much to have a floor and friends and flowers and a frying pan. I want to be able to kick a football or float in the lake or go to a soda fountain for a fudge sundae. The typewriter came back from the repair shop. Miss Tibbett opened the case and put a piece of paper in the machine. She began to type, and how happy she was. I feel fantastically fine. I can fly. I can make a fire. I can make a fence or a fort or a frame. I can flip 15 flapjacks. I can grow fat or flat. I can even find a fortune. Finally, I'm free. How fresh, how fine, how free flowing all those new found F's looked. Now she could even type up a menu for the restaurant and not have to worry about Friday's fish dinner. And here's how it came out. On her fixed-up typewriter, New England special dinner, fish chowder, Austin style, fried flounder with oiled egg sauce, Austin baked beans, round red with udder, Austin cream or anana pie. By now, Miss Tibbett had learned to look over what she typed, so as soon as she saw the way the menu came out, she hurried to the typewriter repair shop again. The repairman was out on a call, so she typed a note for him and left the machine. Her note said, "As you will see, the key you fixed is now fine. But another key is either ent or broken. I need it adly, and egg you to take care of it. I will ack as soon as I go to the ank, and then I ook. A new ickle, l, a each ag, and a ig unch of aloons for Illy's Earth Day party. He is the little oi who lives down the loch from me." When she returned, the typewriter was ready. The repairman told her, "I hope everything will be all right this time. I fixed the broken B key. You can test it for yourself and see how it works now." Miss Tibbett pressed down on it. "Better," she said. "Now I can begin again. Bye." And she hurried home. How glad she was that she didn't have to worry any more about the broken B key. Now, whatever she typed could be beautiful. It could be bold and brilliant. She typed out a card for little Billy's birthday present. It said, "Dear Billy, how much I hope you have a very happy birthday." Hey, why did that H work? Miss Tibbett looked over what she had typed and shouted, "Oars!" Back she went to the typewriter repair shop. "Please," she said, "please, please, please fix it again for me. I simply cannot get along without a hand or a home or a heart. I need the H key. Like I said, it was in birthday." She messed it up. "Please try to keep them all in line." "I'll do the best I can," said the typewriter man. "Leave the machine here for a few days and I'll check it all over." Miss Tibbett came for her typewriter later in the week. The repairman greeted her with a broad grin. "All fixed for you. I tested the whole alphabet. Now the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog easily. You can use every single letter from now on." "How wonderful," Miss Tibbett smiled. "Now I'll be able to have apples and baseballs and cats and donuts and eggs and forks and grapes and hats and ice cream and jump ropes and kettles and laps and mornings and newspapers and oranges and pianos and quilts and roses and soda and trees and uncles and violins and window and x-rays and yo-yos and even a zoo." "All of them," the typewriter man agreed. "All 26 letters are now in order." "Oh, thank you," said Miss Tibbett. "And paid him for his work." "Here," said the repairman, "I'll use your machine to make out the receipt." He handed it to her and it said, "Paid in full, one typewriter, all fixed up. Thank you." The end. And that's the end of this, too.